If you type K-pop, it's I Love Dance.
The studios have hosted events and auditions for some of Korea's biggest companies, including YG, HYBE, and Geffen.
The first biggest challenge was
Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Shan.
And we are CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And today we are speaking to dancer, choreographer, entrepreneur, and director of I Love Dance, MJ Choi.
Looking for an awesome global music podcast? Chris and I have the inside scoop with extensive experience performing on stage and working at record labels. We review and deep dive into your favorite artists' songs and careers, and also interview music industry professionals, including artists, producers, choreographers, and everything in between. So join us on Patreon at patreon.com/cctvpops and become part of our amazing crew, including Lisette, Lily, Emily, Kevin, and Juliet. And also subscribe now and let's explore the world of pop music together.
Yes, and today we are joined by MJ Choi. Welcome, MJ. Thank you so much for joining the show.
hello, everyone. And Chantal and Chris, thanks for having me. My name is MJ. I'm the director and founder of I Love Dance. I'm very excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you. So we're going to hop right into it because a lot of people don't really know how K-pop dancing works, or even what's going on in choreographers' mind. So let's just hop right into it. You are originally from Korea. So why did you come to the US?
Initially, I came to learn English. I went to an ESL program.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it was at the beginning. And then I studied here. And then I met my husband. So I got to stay here forever now. He's Korean American. He grew up here. He lived here. So I stayed.
Oh, were you studying any other kind of major, or were you I'm here for English and dancing, that's it?
Actually, I graduated from design school. My major was industrial design.
Wow. Okay.
Very surprising. I don't do anything did now. I had my degree and that's it.
Well, the world had different plans because you're now very big in the dance world. So we actually have a question from @Viv_what on Instagram, and they asked, what inspired you to start dancing?
I guess I always liked it since I was little. But then unfortunately, my parents, they were not supportive. They were very strict, conservative Korean parents. They did love me a lot, but in a different way. They're like, oh, dancing, I don't know how you're going to make a living with that. And that typical Korean parents idea. So they didn't support me. So I didn't get to learn dancing until very late when I became 28. That's when I decided to pursue my dream. But prior to that, I had an interest. I always watch videos and try to learn it myself. But never had serious thought about, maybe I should do this. Then later on, I felt like I'm close to 30. I'm going to look at it one day. So I guess the answer is I always kind of liked it naturally since I was young. I guess I had dancer's art. Yeah. I don't remember there was any special incident that dragged me into dance, but I just always liked it. Music, dancing, all that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, when I was little, MJ, Michael Jackson, love you. But, oh, MJ, he showed me, the So they use that as their motivation, or oh, Britney Spears. But you've always just had it in you. Destiny was calling.
Yeah.
So how did I Love Dance start? How did you become an instructor? Because you were just dancing. So how did you start the groundwork for what you have now?
So I was commuting from Connecticut to New York City to learn dancing. So Broadway Dance Center, that's where I was trained. So as I was commuting, I learned there are so many talented people in this world. I wasn't even that good. I was like, not what I expected. So commuting was pretty long, and money and all that. So I was kind of poor back then. So maybe I should, there were two reasons why I started teaching. So one day I was thinking, I'm not improving fast enough. So I was thinking maybe it's a language. So because I was still kind of like okay with my English. So I said, maybe I should look for Korean instructors. So I went to this Korean website called heykorean.com. It's like Korean people. heykorean.com.
Yeah.
And they exchange all different type of information there, like room for rent, cars, or how to get your visa extended, and all those little information. So I went in there. They have a bunch of club inside of heykorean.com.
Mhm.
So I looked for dance club. And then I found one.
Oh.
So I went there thinking, oh, maybe if I learn from Korean teacher, maybe I can take more information and that's going to help me to improve faster. So I went, but strangely, these people are so tight together. So when I came in as newbie, they didn't really welcome me. It was almost like, that, you know? I was like disappointed and sad again. So I'm like, oh, this is not what I expected either. And I was like upset. So like, okay. So I'm an outsider now. So I went home, looked it up. How they create the club? And it was just free service. Anyone can do it. But back then, my husband was dating me, my boyfriend. So I was like, I should create one for myself so I can teach. Because when I went there, he was a great dancer, but he wasn't a good teacher. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I can teach like basic to really, really beginner people. And I can also maybe make money for my train and stuff like this since I'm commuting from Korea anyway. So I can come early, maybe teach, and then go to my class or the other way. So I looked it up and then I created a club. It's like free club. So I did it, but I can charge people like $10 per class and stuff like that. I do my boyfriend. I should name something like people can easily remember. And I don't know, I can't think of a cool name. Can you help me? It's like, oh yeah, you should create something simple so people hear it and they will always remember. So I said, yeah, something like I Love Dance. He's like, maybe it's a good start. So I named the club I Love Dance. That was 2006, October 6, 2006.
Wow.
So I created this club. And I obviously didn't have any background as a dancer. So I didn't have anything to show off and attract people. But I did it anyway and then tried to put a little S there like, oh, this is dance club. Beginners welcome. I'm going to teach hip hop and all that. So like a couple people came and sometimes nobody show up. So that's how everything started. And then I realized I really enjoyed teaching and I created my warm up and I'm making my choreography and it was fun. And then I actually did find my passion in teaching. And I loved it. I'm like, oh, wow, this is fun. And I love helping people to understand certain, style or fundamental or whatever that is to make it easy for them. And I thought I was good at it. So I kept on going. And here I am.
I love that. So obviously you were training at the same time, but teaching dance is a very different beast and can be very difficult for even the best dancers to be good teachers. So Abandoned Children asked, how did you feel the first time you taught a dance class? And also, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in your beginnings as an instructor?
Good thing was I was going to dance. Like you said, I was going to dance studio myself. So every time I'm going to take my classes, not only learning choreography, I also had a good observation on how all the instructors are teaching. So I took a lot of notes. Oh, this is good when he does say this. Or even language or the sentence itself, I just steal and then write it down and I memorize it sometimes. That's how I study how to teach and also dancing, right? And the challenge was because let's say if I was backup dancer of someone, like people instantly give me the trust. Oh, she used to be dancing with this artist, right? But I didn't have that. So the first biggest challenge was earning everyone's trust and faith. Because they asked me, oh, how long you been dancing? Like, 1 year? So that's where I was. I thought I was still good enough to teach like basic stuff. But then still, when people hear it, they want to learn from somebody who's been dancing for 10 years or who danced with this artist or choreographed for this artist. So I didn't have that. So I just have to physically show and prove that I'm capable of being a good teacher. Right. So like, here's one of the example. I went to, eventually I also wanted to work at the dance studio to gain more experience. So when I went there and I instantly told them, oh, I don't have crazy good background, but I believe I'm a good teacher. So during the interview, instead of having question and answer and all that, I'm like, can I teach you right now? So the dance studio owner, they were like one by two people. They were like, oh, okay. So I gave them like 20-minute lesson, mini class. They loved it. Like, oh my God, you're such a great teacher. You're hired. That's how I got first.
Wow.
So you just need to find a way to gain people's trust and faith. That was the first challenge for me because I didn't have any like background. So that and then having the people come and making them stay. And also, and it's like hard to please everybody because, you know, everybody came from different background, different dance levels sometimes, even though we say it's a basic class, they're beginners, but some people just pick up stuff fast. Some people are just a little bit slower, right? But then I have to make sure that everybody's enjoying the class. That's the biggest challenge. I think that's the challenge even now to any instructors. Like if you have 50 people in your room, I mean, it's almost impossible to make everyone happy, but somewhat you want them to be satisfied after the class and come back again. So that was the biggest challenge. Yeah.
That's very insightful. I know when I teach class, I have that issue. I'm like, am I talking to all the kids? Do they feel seen? And yeah, that's a huge thing. So with I Love Dance having all the small classes and you were doing it in pre-existing studios, now you have 3 studios. So how was that journey getting into making the studio in Flushing and then the studio in Fort Lee and then finally in Times Square?
It's almost like I was so busy working and growing and all that. So sometimes it feels like I lost memory. It's like I blink my eye and I'm telling you, sometimes even when I'm opening my studio like door, I stick my keys inside the hole. I'm like, it's really my studio. And also like I started without having long plan. Like it's not like, oh, I wanted to be a dance studio owner. I never thought about it. It's like, let me get some train fee. I need some money to pay for my dance class. That's how it started without like too much planning. And then even dance Flushing studio, I had an idea of like, oh, since now I have it, because in the beginning I was just renting hourly base, like small room, and I was teaching. So I now built a lot of followers. They've been consistently coming to my class. I felt like, well, maybe I should open a dance studio. But I didn't have a detailed plan, like, oh, okay, so by this month, how much I'm going to save, and this type of a space, that's what I didn't have that. But then one day I was waking up, I told my husband, like, I think I should open a studio in Flushing. He's like, why do you say this? I don't know, I just thought it. Bad business plan. That's already happened. But then I'm the type of person, once I set up a goal, if I have a one step forward and then everything gets just faster and I have to do it. So that's how it started. And then same thing for New Jersey too. I like Flushing, like, oh, it's enough people now. It's covering everything. It's great. And then, oh, there are more people still want to come dance class, learn K-pop, but you know, they don't want to cross the bridge. So, oh, maybe I should open another one. And that I actually thought of in the shower.
Nice.
I was like, oh, I have to open a studio in New Jersey. And I told my husband exactly the same thing. I think I should open. Why? Like, how did I just felt it when I was taking a shower? And then that's what happened. But then I think I kind of took my time because like it's a prime location, all the lease and everything is not something that you can do and not do it. And it's like, you have to really think about it. So yeah, now third one got easier, I guess, because now I have more experience in running business. So, and I was like, that had a little bit of plan.
Yeah.
And I did it. And the journey it's like I said, because it just kind of happened suddenly, everything. So I don't really remember like anything that was happening step by step, but it's fascinating. I feel like it's a miracle to me.
Yeah. And we've both known you for a while now, like when it was just the Flushing studio. And it's been amazing watching the growth of I Love Dance and just watching all these opportunities come for you. It's been absolutely amazing to watch, and we respect you so much for that. So yeah, definitely congrats on the success of I Love Dance. But of course, success depends also on K-pop. So K-pop, when you started back then, like the 15, 20 years ago, it was a very small fan base and following in America. And of course, since then, K-pop now has a huge following in America. Like, it's been very tough to get into some of your classes.
Yeah.
Like, you had to add so many extra classes and they all sold out, right? So it's been amazing watching K-pop's growth. So how has your experience been watching K-pop grow?
There was like huge change between like when I first started and now. For example, like my class was 100%. I had like 100% of Korean students in the beginning because K-pop wasn't global at all. It was like Korean, especially like Korean people who came from Korea to study. They're like, oh, I miss my home. I miss my culture. I miss my, music and all that. So they actually came to my class in the beginning. And then I had a couple of non-Korean people first came in. And that's about it. Like, it was like very small number of people who were aware of K-pop. And there was no such thing called K-pop, actually. We call like Korean. I called my class Korean hip-hop. That's something like I don't know where and who created K-pop, but that word. But like, yeah, we didn't have the word. Anyway, so that was back then. And then look at my class. Now 90% of people are non-Korean people. So I started with like full Korean members and a couple of Americans, like, and people who live in New York City. And then now it's like I have 10% of Korean people probably. Yeah. So that's like crazy. And I remember people were not aware of like Korean culture at all back then. Like very like, food, or not just K-pop itself, food, makeup, all that. It wasn't very popular. Now we're getting a lot of requests from like Google, Cigna, all those corporate companies. They request workshops. I've done so many workshops with those companies, and like we get invited to a lot of events and stuff like that. That's huge improvement from the beginning, right? Because people were not like, they were not familiar with our culture at all. But then now it's like they want us everywhere. And like high schools, middle schools, elementary school, they want after school program and they want to teach K-pop there. So for me, like I witnessed how it's been like different, like improving since then. For me, I feel very proud and happy as myself. I'm Korea. I was born and raised in Korea. And it's just, in the beginning, it's almost like, oh, they don't really know us. But now like everybody knows K-pop. And especially like personally, I feel very happy and, proud.
As you should.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah. Are there any artists or specific songs where you were like, whoa, I think it's starting to spread?
Oh, I think first time when I felt this is crazy. Like I already kind of felt it gradually, like slowly, little by little. But then personally, I love this having a hit was I Am the Best. We entered. I didn't even know what dance cover was, what means. So like Ye was 16 years old student back then. She said, oh, we should enter dance cover contest. So what's dance cover? So she explained. And then we only had 2 days left. And so I decided, I had a plan, like, okay, we only had 2 days left. They also count you too. So we're pretty late. So I'm like, okay, we should take advantage of our location. Let's go to Times Square. I think I might be the first one who actually recorded Times Square. Yeah.
Yes, how I found you. That's how I found you when I was a kid in high school. Yeah.
So I recorded it in time. I selected the background intentionally, Times Square, Grand Central, like, people will go, wow. So we quickly put the videos together and then we were the first place. There wasn't like grand prize and then us. So that's how everybody started finding us, come to YouTube. That's when I realized, oh my God, there's so many people who follow K-pop. There's so many people like listen to it and dance. And that's when I first kind of opened my eyes. Like, okay, so there are are a lot of people who listen to our music. Yes. So I think I Am the Best was the point that I felt like, okay, this has potential.
That's how I found you. Oh my God, that's crazy. Now I was in high school. I remember I used to go to the library for lunch every day. 21 had just come out. That song had, got really big too as the years went on. And then I found you. I was like, oh my God, they're in the middle of this. It's so embarrassing. How are they doing it in the middle of the city? Like there was a lot of like, I felt nervous for you. That's so cool. Wow. But yeah, so you have been expanding, I guess, the culture in a sense. You say you've been kind of going to like companies here in America, and you do host the classes that we've discussed. But the studios have hosted events and auditions for some of Korea's biggest companies, including YG, HYBE, and Geffen. So how do these relationships form and how do you maintain them?
First, I think YouTube helped me a lot in the beginning, like to promote myself, even though I didn't really try to promote myself and like pitch the idea, come to my studio to do this show. I never actually did that. But then they naturally found out about us, I guess, through YouTube and like when you do Google search, like right now we're actually dominating the market in New York City. So, I know there are a few small classes here and there in other studios as well, but then we're the biggest K-pop dance studio. So obviously, when they want to come over to New York, if they want to run the audition, they naturally want to come to us. So that's how we first got into it. And once I have one audition, let's say with YG, then next time JYP, when they do, we heard this place actually did with YG, so they probably have experience. Let's go back to that. So that's how I built more and more relationship, and how I maintained was smart, MJ Smart.
Good for you.
So, when they actually run audition, I organize it pretty well. So when they come in, it's just kind of easy work for them. Versus if they go somewhere else, they might have to tell them what to do. But for me, like I felt natural, like organizing those things. So I was being a good help for those people. So people wanna come back to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Because you did my audition. I didn't have to do anything except sit there and say yes or no. I was like, yeah. So yeah, I agree. I think you definitely.
Yeah.
I've also danced for you for a few projects, and you are very organized, and I always love working with you. So that definitely makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, you've mentioned the covers that you now do. And of course, I Love Dance also has a dance crew as well. And you've performed kind of all over the world. So how has your experience been directing a dance crew? And tell us more about some of the opportunities you've had. Like you've danced with G Idol at MSG. Some of your members have competed in Stage K, which was televised in Korea. So that's awesome. So how has that been for you?
I definitely want to mention about my dance crew. Without them, I don't think I'm here today. Seriously, I was joking, I'm too smart. But to be honest, the way I feel is more than anything, meeting good people is the key to growth. And in that sense, I was very lucky to have all these students and my instructors, my dance team members. They are just so talented, good people. And very loyal and very sincere and very supportive, and not enough words to describe how wonderful they are. So yeah, so I got very lucky. So big thanks to all those people who helped me along the way. And my dance team members, I found most of them were my students. So in the class, I danced with them. Like, very talented. I want to dance with them. So, do you want to make a dance cover with me? That's how it started. We didn't officially have a dance crew, but it was more like, let's do it together. So I picked out a few people and we made few videos together. It became more like our thing, right? And then later on I asked them, do you want to teach? I think you can be a great teacher. So I trained them. I kind of briefly teach them how to teach. So they became my instructor and also dance company members. And later on, I decided, okay, let's just make a crew. So it was more official, so we can practice together and we can do stuff together. And once we start creating dance videos, more and more people start looking for us for events and performance. And that's why those opportunities actually came through. Like dancing with G Idol or performing at the KCON or like even going to that stage K competition was also like, they probably found us through YouTube and stuff like that, but they contacted, why don't you have your team enter? So that's what we did. And it's just, I feel like I have amazing family, dance family. So I feel super proud and just feel strong, very strong. Like I trust them completely and I always have fun with them. And they are very important particle of I love dance. So I can't think I love dance without those members. So that's how important they are. And yeah, it's just, God loves me sending these people.
Oh, but yeah, I think that does play a huge part. I mean, especially when you have certain highs, it's good to have good people with you, but when you have low moments as well, because you have had some challenges as an entrepreneur and as a dancer. Like, for example, you did have your spine injury for those several years, and it took a few months to recover from, and having a team is really important, a good team who care about you, right? So could you just give us a little bit more examples of some challenges that you've had to overcome either by yourself or as a team?
So yeah, that's one good example because I had my spine surgery right around COVID happened. And like my team instantly hopped onto Zoom class. So I survived during the COVID, my business, because it was a good thing to have several locations, but at the same time, when COVID hit, you have to pay for the rent for those space that you don't even use. Everybody's home, but I'm still paying for my rent.
Yeah.
So that was a little crazy experience, but like I said, we had an amazing team. So we had a discussion, okay, who's going to come in and teach? Like we had all separate keys because at that time, we couldn't meet each other. They have disinfect everything. They come in and teach for Zoom class and then go, and then the other person come in. So they were very like helpful and supportive of that. And luckily, it's over and we survived it.
Yeah.
Back here as a normal people now, normal life. Yeah. So that was pretty challenging. And also like I said, I had back surgery. So I was basically in my bed in the beginning and slowly started recovering, like starting from walking, standing, walking for 5 minutes and increase 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So even without COVID, there's no way I would have teach my classes. So my team were there for me. So I was like easily overcome my obstacles. So that was one of the case. And besides that too, like luckily I didn't have too much of up and down in the business wise because K-pop was constantly growing. And I'm teaching K-pop mainly. So it kind of followed the flow. But I would say not everyone can be happy 100% all the time, right? So because I have this team, I always get inspired by them. Sometimes when I'm down or I feel like, today I feel a little tired or less motivated and stuff like that. They're there as a good examples and stuff like that. So they help me during those times. Yeah, emotionally. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, we've both met your crew and danced with them, and they're all awesome people. So yes, the whole I Love Dance team is amazing. You've definitely surrounded yourself with really great people for sure.
Yes,
So what are some of your future plans for I Love Dance, and how do you plan to grow it further? And this is the question from our viewer, Derek Ho.
I do, even though I've been doing all social media, YouTube and all that, but to be honest, I couldn't have too much focus on those things because running business and it's a lot going on. But then my next goal is I just want to create more contents for my channel to expand, not just physically as a dance studio, but it's more like as a YouTuber or just social media in general. That's gonna help us to reach out to more people, not just New York City area, like everyone all over the world.
Right.
So that would be my goal, to be more focused on those things, like creating more fun content and TikTok and Instagram, all that. I think I've been very slow for those things. So I want to try to, pick it up. That, and for dance studio wise, I would love to open my fourth location sometime this year. So that's another
Long
plan.
Island? Long
Yeah.
Island?
Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Train's expensive.
Yeah.
Train's expensive.
I've been thinking of opening Long Island a few years ago, actually before COVID happened. Right before my surgery, I was talking to someone already, but then my spine surgery happened. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not the time. Yeah, but throughout my life, I learned when something doesn't go the way you want, it's not always bad sign. And when I was younger, I was getting like disappointed, like, oh my God, I wanted to get this, it didn't happen. I wanted to do that, didn't happen. Oh, they didn't like me. But sometimes it happens to protect you. Imagine I was gonna get the surgery. Imagine we were getting COVID. Imagine if I signed the lease and opened another studio back then. I don't know about that. So it was good that it didn't happen right away, because there was a little delay when I was looking for Long Island location. There was a little delays here and there, so it kind of slowed down. And then there's a surgery, so I finally decided, okay, this is not gonna happen right now. But then I'm glad that it happened that way, because we were locked in our house during the COVID after that. So I'm like, okay, oh, thank God I did the X to my spine surgery. That's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, crazy. Timing works out. But yeah, we've been watching you growing on your TikTok and your Instagram reels. We see you. We see the team. You guys making those funny videos. But yeah, even with things like that, you are expanding out to more people, which means you get sometimes you get to make wedding dances or proposal videos, right? So do you choreograph? Derek also asked, do you choreograph any original pieces, and would you want to create a piece of K-pop dancing for like an idol or a group in the future?
I mean, I'm a very objective person, so I don't think I'll be talented enough to create anything for K-pop idol.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, those like big group project. But I love creating myself. So I've done your videos. And I very appreciate, that you worked with me.
Likewise.
It's a lot. It means really a lot. And also, yeah, I love it. So I've done like those wedding videos. Those are my choreography, and I love doing those. And I used to teach jazz film class, hip hop class in the past. So I guess I like it. But in terms of goal, I mean, if anyone come to my way and, hey, let's work together, like K-pop Broadway, I was working as a associate choreographer. Those things happen. Oh, definitely, I want to grab it. If anyone come to my way and say, oh, let's work it together, let's do this. Can you make something for me? Yeah, I'm gonna try. But then I don't have like goal of, okay, I want to be the choreographer of this K-pop idol.
Right.
Come on, there are too many talented people, young and talented people, and they should do it. And I'll be happy to watching them.
Well, you are being very humble, because the
Yeah.
choreography you've done, the original stuff, has all been really good. And of course, you've mentioned K-pop Broadway, so we have to talk about that. So K-pop the musical was on Broadway, kind of at the end of 2022, and both of us attended the show, and we're so proud that you got to be a part of it. So how did you get involved with the project? How did they reach out to you?
It was through email in the beginning. Again, I'm sure they found us through Google, and I'm telling you, if you type K-pop, sign of dance. Yeah. Yeah. So, and there are a lot of things you can look it up. So they probably saw us. Oh, okay, they're very heavily into K-pop. So, the main choreographer, she wanted to work with Korean, because she wasn't Korean herself. So she wanted to create something more authentic. So she needed to have a Korean choreographer who can work with her. So that's how they first reached out to me. And first was through email. And then I said, I showed my interest. Okay, I'm interested. Let's have Zoom meeting. So I had a Zoom meeting with the choreographer, just one-on-one. And she liked me instantly. She said, but I think I like you, but we have to create dance together. So we got to make sure we're compatible as a, partner. So we met at our studio and we created something together on the spot just to try out, see if it works. That was my first time actually creating something with someone on the spot. I always do it myself and like organize it and then come to the rehearsal and teach. So this is like, first time doing it. I was a little nervous, but I did it. And then she liked it. We had a good time. So she said, it's yes to me, but now you have to talk to producer and director and those people, office people. So I said, okay. So we had another, so first Zoom meeting with her and then one session with her. And then I went to another Zoom meeting with all the producers and directors, and we had a long conversation. They asked my background, and also they asked if there's a theater background because it's K-pop is subject, but then still it's a theater Broadway show. They wanted to make sure that I have some background. So I told them I majored in China. I majored in acting, stage acting. So I did have some background. Surprise! So they liked me, and they liked the fact that I am very much experienced as a teacher, because at the end of the day, once we create something, we have to teach the dance to the full cast and then work together. So teaching part actually took a big portion. So they liked it. So I was hired.
Nice.
Yay.
That's awesome. So as you mentioned, you were choreographing and just you're used to making up your own like formations, having everything in a notebook. I've seen it. He's seen it. We've all seen your creative process, right? But you did like recently post some footage of the ILD dance company as like skeleton crew for some of the choreographies. So Aaliyah Carey from IG asks, what was your favorite song from K-pop Broadway to help create?
I love Superstar.
Oh, Superstar.
Yeah. That's the last song for the first half. I really liked it. The music, I love the music, and the dance came out nice. I love the Superstar. And Super Goddess, this is from Artemis, the girl group. It's very more mature and sexier vibe, and all the swag, and I loved it. And I also loved how those cast performed it. So I think those two are my favorite.
Yeah, so Broadway is a whole beast that is very new for you. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced?
First biggest challenge was not knowing anything what I wanted. Because we had a whole big process of making the dance in the beginning, even prior to meeting everyone. Me and being choreographer, we got together daily and prepared the dance. So that was fun. And then once we went to theater, like rehearsal space, and started working with other people, because they've been doing that for a while. A lot of people experienced me in theater, but that was my first time doing it. So like not knowing anything every day, it was more like I had to stay away and make sure pick up things fast. But also it was very fun as well, challenging and fun. And coming in the middle of theater and K-pop was very challenging, because K-pop is very trendy and it's like constantly changing and all that. But theater has to be consistent. Like you don't create a musical thinking that you're gonna play for a week. They normally, when they plan, they are hoping to run it for long run. So something that has to work for a long time. K-pop is more like instantly. Oh, this month, this is the dance and the music, and the next month we have another coming up. So stuff like that. So meeting in the middle, and also even cast too. Some of them are real like themselves. They were idols, so they have K-pop background, but some of them were very heavily like theater background. So how can we harmonize together as a whole group? Those things, like always have to find a way to blend everything well. So it works for both K-pop fans. When they watch it, it has to look authentically K-pop. At the same time, when theater fans come in, this is musical. You know what I mean? So that was the most challenging part for all of us. Actually, not just me, like all the full team. But my experience was great. Like everybody was so nice. I learned so much. I made some great friends. So yeah, that was amazing experience for me.
For some people who wanted to come see the show, they were a little sad that had ended so early. So some people were just wondering, what were your thoughts on the show being closed so soon, and how do you feel about it?
That whole couple of weeks, we were so sad. Like us, like our crew and also cast, I can't even like imagine how disappointed they were. So we were very emotional, sad, and there was a lot of crying and all that. But down the road, later on, I start to feel more like accepting, like because once something is decided, I mean, only thing that we can think of it is moving forward and, just accept it. Otherwise, we're going to be like stuck in there and, you know, you have to move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning when it happened, I felt like, oh my God, months of practice and, all that creating dance. I was thinking, okay, even if I'm done as a associate choreographer, I can always go back to theater and look at the dance, like, because it's going to play it daily, right? But then when that's gone, I feel like, no, I feel so empty. It was like huge disappointment. But then, like I said, I accepted it, and probably everything happens for a reason. So I'm sure something better will be reserved for all of us, like me and all the team members. So now I'm better. But before I was like, Richard, don't go about it, so sad. But now I'm okay. I'm sure, there's no regrets.
Yeah.
Like it was still a good experience. So yeah, I'm still thankful and happy.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a groundbreaking show. It's the first show on Broadway that featured an all Asian cast, and it was really cool to see. And it really is amazing that you got to be a part of it for sure. And it originated as an off-Broadway show, and then there's still the soundtrack that's coming out as well. So there's still potential life there. So if the show ever does get brought back in some form, like a tour or another city or something, and you get to work on it again, is there anything that you would do differently or that you would change now having learned everything?
I think so. Like, how like when you create something, I don't know if there's anyone ever feel like 100% satisfied. Like, okay, this is good. I'm not going to change anything. It's like when you look back, like, oh, I wish I did this part like that. I still have that. So if the show comes back, if I get to work with them again, then I definitely walk through the whole entire dance, little by little, and see if there's anything that we can improve. Definitely.
Oh goodness! Well, just a quick insight to people who don't really know your choreography style, like your practice style. She likes to go 8 count by 8 count and analyze each finger and things like that. So yeah, we could totally see you doing that. That would be so cute. Just the finger is not right for your K. But
maybe just was behind, maybe behind that. I don't know. 2-inch or 1.5 inch.
But it matters. Yeah, it matters. It matters. Because, honestly, you've been such like an influence even on my choreographing. Like I've choreographed since I was like a kid, but even now when I'm teaching my kids, I'll sit there and go 5, 6, 7, 8. No, stop at the 8. Don't go any further. Just the 8. Why is your finger here? Why did it? Because I'm like, why do I? I've never done this. MJ Choi. So yeah, it's you're definitely like influencing a lot of people. You have touched so many lives for sure, believe me. But yes, we have one more question from a couple of more questions rather, but we have one question from another IG subscriber, and her name is Junie Lim. That's an interesting name. Hi, sweetie. Looking back at all the hard work you've done so far, did you think that you'd get this famous? So just to kind of fluff that up a little bit, you've worked with Nike, you've been on Broadway. So how do you feel about your own personal success?
I don't know if I'm famous, so I'd be a little, that's not me. Definitely, yeah, my business grew and there are more people recognize me when it comes to, dance studio and K-pop dance studio and NIC. I never imagined But I know since I was young, I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I wanted to do acting, all that. So I guess I wanted to become someone who stands out and stand in front of other people.
Mm.
So I guess I had that heart since I was young. But then I didn't like focus on that when I was working for student. It's more like I followed my heart, like people say, like, oh, I want to do this. I just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought me to where I am right now. Yeah.
That makes sense. Do it with love, not for
Yeah.
love.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really is amazing. You are definitely an inspiration to both of us and all of your students as well. So K-pop dance can be very difficult, and you are one of my favorite instructors. So what advice would you give to our listeners who want to start learning dance and K-pop dance?
They should be very forgiving to themselves in the beginning. I think this actually works for both students and teachers. I want to deliver this message to both of the people. Like I think you two dance, so you should probably can relate to this. Like when you go to like first time when you walk into dance studio,
Mhm.
it's not really about dance. It's about feeling comfortable, not feeling anxious about not doing well. I think that's how I felt when I went to my first dance class, especially I was very like older than a lot of them. I felt like I was nervous. I was worried that people would judge me, and I was worried that like everybody is keeping up, but I was left behind. So I'm like, it felt uncomfortable, and I was very like I felt very like maybe I don't have talent. It's bad, like disappointed, and so now I think about it. Anyone, when you do something for the first time, it's very normal that you're bad. So you should give yourself that room to be silly and make mistakes and look bad in the class. And it's okay if you're the slowest learner in the room, because if you have the mindset of like, okay, that's fine. I can be silly. I can make mistakes. I can be bad. It's no problem. Once you can do that, your learning experience is gonna be more fun, and you actually learn fast. Because like that's why when some of the teachers that I'm working with, I sometimes mention that make sure exchange your energy with students, even turn around, actually directly making eye contact and talk to them, and make sure they feel comfortable. And don't look away when they make mistake. Don't make them think that's something that I have to pretend that I didn't see. Laugh at it.
Right.
Laugh together. It's okay to make mistakes. So you have to give them the feeling of like, oh, it's okay to fall. It's okay to do something different. And I turn the other way. Sometimes like you just pretend you didn't see so they don't feel embarrassed. No, you should let them know that I saw it and it's okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that feeling, you should get rid of that feeling when you first walk into dance studio. Like it's hard to do it, but then that's the first step. And then from there, learning dance starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my advice. Just be free and give yourself, opportunity to mess up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Since we are a music show, we've got to ask, what is your favorite song or a song you've been listening to lately? It doesn't have to be K-pop, but if it is, let us know. But yeah, what have you been listening to lately?
Lately,
Yeah.
you know how like we teach a lot of K-pop songs monthly, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then that doesn't mean we like that song personally, because we doing votes, and there are times that like, do I like this music or I don't like this dance, but I still have to do it.
Yeah.
Very cute, So but this month I got lucky. It's actually, I don't know if I call it K-pop. I don't think it's K-pop because XG is
That's us our argument too. Like, wait, they're singing in English or Japanese.
Yeah,
but
so I'm confused. I don't want to get in trouble. People are sensitive. If I call it K-pop, it's not. By the way, correction here. It's not K-pop. It's done in English. They're not Korean members. I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble. People who's watching this, I don't know. But anyway, they asked me what I like to listen to these days. Left, Right by XG. I love it. Dance and also music. It's very catchy. I like it. I think that's my music these days. And sometimes like think about it, you teach like 4 or 5 times a week. Sometimes you just like get sick of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? But so far I'm still like enjoying the dance and music. I'm done actually. Tomorrow is my last class. I'm actually like left, right. Well, I'm still enjoying it. So I guess that's my song now at the moment.
Nice. Nice. Speaking of the songs where you don't like the choreography, can you think of a class where you were really annoyed that you had to teach it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't even have to finish the question. I'm like, already like it's coming, the memory is coming back. Pick me, pick me up, pick me.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, for me, like, I don't know, because also maybe because that type of sound is like, if you know how when you teach, you have to replay the section sometimes, like, ping me up, ping me up. Like, oh my gosh. Wait. And then also, it's not my style dance wise. Also, like it was hard, and I didn't have a lot of students. I remember the last class, we sometimes recorded. I think I had 5 people in this class. So I have to be like super like extra energetic. So people don't feel like, oh, you don't have that many people. I want to make sure that they feel like they're dancing with 20 people. So I'm like, well, hey, let's go. As if I've done all of this dance like crazy. It's like obsessed. But then that's my professionalism. But yeah, that song I didn't enjoy it, unfortunately. Like I was very happy when I was done.
You know what? That is so welcome here because Chris and I have gotten some like, by the way, because we said we don't like something, even though we've had like facts to back it up. It happens.
Yeah.
Not gonna like everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm mature now, so it's like, no, I don't like the way you dance. It's fine.
Good for you.
Or like, no, whatever. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. You get like the after a while. It's like, meh. I'm still gonna make these dances. So, like, but
there was actually YouTube comment.
Oh.
MJ looks old. Like that. I'm like, I am old.
Oh.
Yes. Brilliant.
Good for you. But yeah, speaking of like ILD and even you and YouTube and everything else you're trying to do with growing your platform and your business, what is next for you? Any kind of projects that you can tease or tell us about? A little teaser.
Right now, I don't have anything big. But here and there, we just get a lot of performances and all that. So I do have some. Oh, I do have something coming up. So what we're going to do is we're gonna.
Sorry to interrupt here, but the news is not quite ready to be announced just yet. So for now, gonna take this time to plug Chantel's music videos for I Like You and Here I Am, linked in the description, which feature MJ's choreography. All right, back to the show.
So that's my next.
That's exciting.
That's really cool. All right. So you've mentioned wanting to expand your platform. So here's your chance to plug. Where can people find you on social media? Where should they follow you?
I Love Dance NYC works for everything. It's our website, Instagram, TikTok. So just remember, I Love Dance. That's our name, but we're in NYC. We started in NYC, so I just put it there. I Love Dance NYC. So follow us. The reason why you need to follow us is because your life is going to be fuller with my energy and my people's energy. With I Love Dance, we're very positive.
Yes.
Was it too much?
No,
that's
not at
perfect.
all. No, not at all.
And you've been to my studio, and you guys are like, you've been very supportive, both of you. Like I said, I always meet good people, and you two are included, definitely. Yeah. And I'm always thankful, doing amazing job on the MC thingy,
Thank you.
the contest, so talented. Seriously, I was like, wow, that's crazy, and so much dedication. Preparing all the. I was very touched. And that's also the reason why I was very thankful and happy that you invited me to your show. And I felt like, hey, this is how I can pay back and support them too, because they've done so much for me as well. And yeah. And also, yes. So, you've been to our studio. Everybody in our group, our family, very nice, positive, welcoming people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people gained their confidence and became happier or found their new talent or passion ever since they walked into our studio. So, yeah.
Follow your heart, but also follow I Love Dance. Thank you so much, MJ, for hanging out with us today. And for all of our listeners and viewers, go to I Love Dance on YouTube and all the socials. And if you are on the East Coast, come to I Love Dance in Times Square and Flushing in New York or Fort Lee in New Jersey. Chris and I, as MJ has said, go to classes all the time. So definitely come dance with all of us. Thank you to everyone for listening and submitting your questions. And let us know what other aspects of the music industry you'd like to hear about. Hang out with us and the crew on Patreon, and please comment below or message us at CCTV Pops on our social media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications for our YouTube channel. And if you're enjoying the show on a podcast platform, please give us a follow, rating, and a review. Until next time, that's Chris.
That's Shan, and that's MJ.
CCTV, fighting!
Yeah, we're CCTV, the nonstop pop show. Woo.